today's poem is called The New Colossus. It is by Emma Lazarus. Is anybody familiar with this poem to start with? This is one that you may know from somewhere. You may know it from somewhere, or maybe not. So far, the only comments that have come through are no's, and I do not. No, I do not. No. All right, so let's read through it a couple of times, and maybe once you hear it, you'll be like, oh, wait. Maybe I do know what this is. New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. All right, so maybe this is starting to spark some of the knowledge that you presumably have about stuff. We'll read through it one more time and make sure that we're recognizing what it is. I see Stark already knows what this one is about. We'll leave the rest of you to think about it. Serenity is already thinking, well, wait, what does brazen mean? All right, there's something for you to Google in your spare time. Let's read this a second time and see if it makes a little bit more sense. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. All right, so this one is Emma Lazarus, and this is definitely the one that she is known for, the one poem that she is really known for. The New Colossus is a poem that does have to do with the Statue of Liberty. So as we are looking at things here, the main thing for us to recognize is one of the things that is being discussed here is this particular statue. I think you're probably familiar with this. Hopefully so. If you're not, that's not good. But there is a plaque on the Statue of Liberty that reads something like this. Oh, hey, whoa, look at this. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand. Oh, wait a second. This is the exact same thing I just read. Why am I going to read it a second time? So this is actually the plaque, or actually I think this is the indoor version of the plaque, but this is the same type of plaque that is actually put onto the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. So with that, let's go back to the poem itself in kind of an easier form for us to read. Instead of bronze on bronze, we'll read it in black on white and see if we can make sure that we're understanding what exactly this is talking about. As you're looking at this and as you re-examine this with now the knowledge that this is talking about the Statue of Liberty, with the exception of the first two lines, all of this is really discussing the statue itself. So as we're looking at this, a few things for us to pay attention to. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand. So she is definitely very clearly used consonants through here to make sure that we see she is repeating that S sound here. At our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand. So we have a great version of consonants for us to see in that very first line. But so she is standing at the sunset gates. is a mighty woman with a torch, which explains exactly the Statue of Liberty. And the flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name is Mother of Exiles. And so Mother of Exiles, meaning people who have been kicked out of their country. And so for much of American history, one of the things that we've done is we've become a country that's a melting pot of people who have been more or less persecuted their way out of other countries. And so they've come here because the freedom that is granted to each of us here allows them to have a little bit more room to do exactly what they want to do, as opposed to being persecuted or even prosecuted for whatever their beliefs might be in their original or native countries. So people have been exiled, and she is the mother of exiles. She is the one who welcomes them. So from her beacon hand, so that's the torch. So from her beacon hand, it glows worldwide welcome. Again, really good job of making sure that this one is not consonants, worldwide welcome. Instead, we have alliteration that happens with these three words. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that Twin Cities frame, talking about New York and New Jersey and the two cities that are on the opposite sides. So as she stands there in between the two different states, between the island and the land, she stands guard in that area, this air-bridged harbor. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp. You guys want to be all pompous, you guys want to be all ridiculous, that's perfectly fine. We don't need that. We don't need what you believe are your best and brightest. You can keep those for yourself. Instead, what we would rather have are your tired, your poor, your huddled masses who want to be free and breathe free. Those that you would say are trash. Those that you would say are not worthy of staying. Those are the ones. Send those homeless people tempest tossed. Hey, wait, tempest. It sounds like that's a storm. So tempest tossed, and tossed equals TOSSED. So those who are thrown about by storms on ships, send them to me. Send them to me. They can survive those thunderstorms on their way here, and as they cross the water and come upon my statue, then they will be able to look upon me and go, hey, great, freedom is finally within reach. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. And so that golden door is the entryway to America. So as we're looking at this poem, we have a lot of imagery that helps us understand. And then we also have a statue that is doing, well, human things. She is crying with silent lips, which is a couple of different things. One, it's an oxymoron. You can't both cry and be silent at the same time. And then beyond that, it's also personification, because this statue is doing human things. She is doing things that otherwise she would not be able to do as a statue. So we have those particular pieces as well. Now, the one other thing I wanted to talk about are these first two lines, which are totally different than the rest of the poem. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. So one of the things that came up earlier, Serenity asked in the chat, wait, what's brazen mean? Anybody get a chance to Google search yet and find out what brazen means? Or maybe you just knew the word brazen right off the top of your head. You were like, hey, I know stuff. Look at me. I know lots of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Because we could just do connotation if we can't do denotation. There is a no, another no. So Aaron has typed in all caps, conquering. So not like the conquering giant of Greek fame with conquering limbs astride from land to land. So he's using his context clues. Well played, Aaron. Brazen would be a little bit different than conquering. Shameless. Yeah, shameless is good. Shameless is good. Thank you, Amaya. So shameless giant of Greek fame. So here, let's try to do that. So the new Colossus is the name of this poem, and the new Colossus is a descriptor for the Statue of Liberty. Of course, if there's a new Colossus, it probably means that there's also been an old Colossus. All right. Well, this is why we can't have nice statues of guys. Goodness. Some pants would have been more appropriate. Anyway, so a little bit different. If we go back to the poem and you think about the poem, he's standing astride from limb to limb, standing astride from coast to coast, and so the way that the new Colossus explains the Colossus at Rhodes, which is the first Colossus, this This would be much more brazen, much more shameless, much more shameless. Personally, I think probably the Statue of Liberty is a little bit better in terms of being maybe welcoming and greeting. But back in ancient Greece, guess this is I don't know. This doesn't feel very welcoming. Not really sure about that. It's not the most welcoming thing. I know for a second some of you were like, "Oh no, we're being Zoom bombed." No, that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. Here, let's go back to the poem itself, though, and make sure that we understand. Again, to go back to these first two lines. So not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. The Colossus at Rhodes, I think it fell into the ocean somewhere around 226 BC. So, that's 2,200 years ago. That it fell into the water. Because of that, we don't really know what it looked like. It's not like there were photographs at that point in time. So these artist representations that we have, and certainly, I've chosen the one that actually most closely mimics the poem itself. There are others where the statue, the Colossus, would have looked more like the Statue of Liberty, and would have been just standing off to the side and would have had the same kind of elements in terms of having a crown, but realistically, probably not exactly the same. Not exactly the same. But to go ahead and make that contrast, this is not somebody who might be intimidating. This is not somebody who is trying to frighten people away or make them go, you know what, we don't need to go to Greece anyway. We don't need to go to Rhodes anyway. We don't need to enter that harbor. This is a statue that is much more welcoming. This new Colossus is welcoming. This new Colossus is inviting. This new Colossus wants people to come to the United States. Certainly, your point is well taken, that really there's not that many people who are coming at this point in time. But alas, the new Colossus will stand there and will wait and bide its time, just like the rest of us, unfortunately. She's probably a little bit better at it in terms of, being able to isolate in place. But she will bide her time, and at a certain point, again, she will go back to saying, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And we will have more people come and join us in this great experiment. So there's that. In the meantime, hey, make sure that you are being good to each other. Make sure that you guys are being good to your families. Make sure that you're being good to yourselves. All right. Take care.